So what we'll do is just take a little bit of time to center ourselves. So some of you are taking this live. Some of you, if you're not taking this live, you might be taking this on a pre-record at a later stage. So you're fitting it into your day as a means to press the pause button, just to get yourselves, I guess, gather your energy, take stock of how you feel. So let's just take a few moments to acknowledge that. So ask yourself the question, how am I? What do I need? What is my intention for this practice? Am I here because I just want to explore something new for myself? Am I here because I want to learn how some useful tools in ways in which the breath can help me relax? Am I here because I just want a break? I want a bit of space and time for me. So consider your response, and then quick check-in physically. What do you notice? Notice if there is sensation. Sensation could be tingling, sensation could be heat or cool, sensation could also be stiffness. It could be that you're aware of the air touching your skin. It could be light or colour. So anything that has some kind of response in your body is sensation. So acknowledge what's there, acknowledge your starting point, and then perhaps let your eyes close or soften your gaze to look down towards the ground. So you're starting to dim out perhaps the external environment and taking yourself to an inner environment. Be aware of the ground beneath you. Notice how you stand through the soles of your feet. You might allow a little release in your knees. Can you soften your shoulders, almost like they're melting away from your ears? And a quick check-in with your toes, roughly parallel to one another, roughly hip distance apart. A position that enables you to feel evenly placed over your feet. And then place one hand over the center of your chest, one hand over your abdomen, and just begin to notice that you're breathing. So there's a breath in and a breath out. And you're not changing anything about your breath at this stage. You're just aware that that is so, that I'm breathing in and that I'm breathing out. How does it feel as you breathe in? Can you notice the coolness, the touch of the air in the nostrils, and an expansion into your hands? Literally the inspiration of the breath coming in, expanding, and then a hollowing, a release on the exhale. And then the quality of the breath on the touch in the nostrils is perhaps more neutral or warm. So you're inviting, welcoming the in-breath, and then softening, releasing through the out-breath. And in our practice today, I'd like you to imagine, so this is the part where we're going to be kind to ourselves. I'm going to set you an intention to imagine that your hands are an extension of your heart. So your heart being a sense of self, perhaps compassion, gentle, kind place within you. And then let your hands just start to move away from your body. So they expand and lengthen, and then they come back. And at this stage in the practice, I'd just like you to encourage that gentle idea of moving from your heart out and then coming back. And if you imagine that you are going to be a friend to yourself through this kindness, you're not just letting those hands land heavily. There's a lightness, a gentleness with which they are placed. And I'd like you to take this for a few more rounds and start to explore the arms really reaching away from your body. And when you complete the round that you're on, just let the hands rest. Take a deep breath in and then sigh the breath out. And then the next time you breathe in, take the movement again. So exploring the option of moving with the breath. Notice how, well, maybe not, maybe things don't change massively, but see if you are more connected to the movement. As you breathe in, this sense of expansion, this sense of opening, and then as you breathe out, coming in back to your starting place. And again, your hands are an extension of your heart. So there's a real lightness with that touch, and you're opening from your heart into the space around you. And you could think of that as an offering to yourself towards your creativity, towards your environment. I often like to think of this as being an exercise in how we place our hands to the earth, or place our hands to the way we feed, we eat. You know, just thinking of how we can nourish ourselves in a kind and gentle way. Maybe even if you're a photographer and you're here, thinking of the way you handle your camera, for example, or the way you take a photograph. Just think about how you use your hands as if coming from that place of sincerity, of purpose, of self. Okay, we're going to pause that, let the arms rest by your sides, and then I'm going to invite you to take them forwards and up. So you're taking them in the direction of the sky and then lowering them down. And on your lower down, soften into your knees, almost like you're sinking a little through the knees into the ankles, and then on the way up, press through and straighten the legs a little more. So there's a more expansive shape that you're forming as you rise with the arms. Explore this for a few more rounds. Inviting space into your body can often be thought of as inviting space into your mind. Okay, you come back down again on the round that you complete, and then I'd like you to take a deep breath in and then sigh the breath out again, and then go again, this time with your inhale. Rise with the arms and then lower the arms and invite a little softness in your knees, like a micro bend into your knees, and then again. And just notice if there is a little more for you to expand into when you take the arms up on that inhale. And then the same on the exhale, coming back towards the ground, releasing down. Long exhalation and a deep inhalation. And if you find today in the practice that this breath movement integration doesn't quite resonate or doesn't quite fit for you, then that's fine. Find a rhythm that does. So even if that means you're moving a little more quickly than me, or your breath rhythm is different, that is fine. We're bringing ourselves into kind of this mindful practice in a way that is nurturing for each of us. So just make this the last round that you're on. And when you complete, this time breathe in and really, really hug the shoulders towards your ears, like you're tensing, and then let them release down towards the ground. And I'd just like you to have a little shake out here. So sometimes when we become really focused in our movements with our breathing, you know, and we're new to it, it can be agitating. So let's just get rid of some of those maybe, little agitations or twitches that might be occurring. And when you've done that, just come to a place of stillness and pause. Notice how it feels as you breathe in. Notice how it feels as you exhale. We're going to come in and explore an energizing posture, warrior posture, pretty much one of my favourite shapes to explore because it can be very uplifting, strengthening, and it's quite a nice posture to embody from that point of view. So coming towards the back of your space, your feet are roughly parallel with one another, and just turning your right toes out a little and then take a step forward with your left foot. So if you're alongside a wall, you might find it useful to just place your hand on the wall, find your your centre of gravity, feel balance through the feet. You can always take your front foot out a little, and then when you're ready, you can let your hands rest by your sides, or you can keep the hand on the wall there for a little bit of extra support for your balance. Bring in your hands, if you're working with both arms there, over the chest, otherwise just one arm over the chest. And in this practice again, we'll just explore coming in. Imagine again your hands are an extension of your heart, so the front knee bends and the arms move away from your chest out, and then they come back. So we'll explore this for a few rounds freely. See if you can slow things down. So generally yoga tends to be slow, especially the approach that I teach. Sometimes you kind of miss things if you're moving too quickly. So it's useful for us to kind of slow the patterns down, and perhaps we can maybe notice a little bit more what's going on in the body and in the breath as well. Okay, so when you've taken that a few times, you've got used to the movement, come back and then pause, deep breath in, sigh on the exhale, and then the next time that you breathe in, bend the front knee and take the arms out at shoulder level. So the arms come away on the in-breath, the front knee bends, and then the arms come back and the front knee straightens on that exhale. Sense of lift in the chest, and then coming back through to your starting point. And this part, the in-breath, if you think of inhalation as literally your capacity to inspire, and often as creatives, you know, it's the inspiration that drives us. We get ideas, we get inspired. So think of how your inhale can tap into that same quality. Inspire yourself into this shape, and then come back and find your ground. And then let's stay for a few breaths. So pause with the arms away, lifting through. Think of that inspiring part of your shape. As you breathe in, uplifting through, you might find you're able to extend your arms in the direction of the sky, encouraging a little more space through the sides of the torso, into the armpits, maybe lifting the chin if you'd like to. You can also keep the arms by your sides, or you could go between those two actions, so you really explore that lift. But notice how the front knee's still bent, the back leg is anchored. We're anchoring down towards the ground. Another breath in, and then exhale, bring everything back, stepping your feet back together. Pause, breathing in. Sigh, breathing out. And let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So stepping your right foot forwards, you can have your hands over the heart or have one hand on the wall. So if you're moving with the hand on the wall, you can keep the hand there and just take the opposite arm away. Bring the hand back and keeping one hand on the wall. If you're working with both arms, coming from your heart, remember that in this practice I encourage you to connect to the idea that your hands are an extension of your heart. So this idea that you want to be gentle, you want to be kind, you want to have compassion for your movement, for your gestures. If you can be compassionate here towards yourself, then it's more likely that we can cultivate that compassion on the outside. You know, when we're working with people, or when we're getting frustrated by things, by challenges, it's just having a little bit of compassion and being kind in the way that we respond, remembering we're only human after all. Let that come back to a breath in when you've completed the round that you're on. Sigh the breath out, and then inhale and explore the same shape, this time with your breath supporting you. Another little way that you can explore this is see if you can almost envelop your movement within your breath. So the inhale begins, and then you move, and then you fill your expanse, you inspire into your shape, and then the exhale starts and we start to draw it back. So just exploring that if you'd like to. Again, it's not going to be for everybody, okay? And then we'll stay for a few breaths. Pausing, exhale. I'm going to encourage you this time, almost draw in towards your core. Think about how your core can support you, a sense of grounding down, and then inhale, and then lifting, inspiring into your shape. A sense of rise. Exhale, you can release the arms. Inhale, let the arms float up. Often when I'm teaching yoga, I think of the arms in positions to be wing-like, effortless. So we have this grounded place from the core down, anchoring us, and then a sense of effortlessness along the spine and into the arms. Or gracefulness, you know, just kind of terms that we don't always connect to in our daily lives. Okay, when you feel ready, draw that all back, hands over the heart, and then step your front foot back together. And we're just going to take a few moments to pause here. Deep breath in, shrug the shoulders, explore what it feels to be tense, and then exhale, release the shoulders down. Okay, I'm going to move down towards the ground, onto all fours, but if you prefer to stay more upright, then do the next part of the practice on a chair. So I'll just have a chair here ready. We're either coming onto all fours or coming to sit onto a chair. So the idea here is that we're going to explore folding, hinging at the hips and stretching the pelvis in the direction of the heels. And then when you come forward, it's like you're pushing a ball along the floor with the crown of your head. So exploring that on all fours or on a chair, you're more upright, lifting the chest, sliding the hands towards the hip creases, and then exhale round, draw the belly in, and then the chest in some way towards the knees, and then a rise. Again, you can still imagine pushing a ball with your crown of head, lifting, and then exhale and drawing the navel in. So either of those two options. When you've done it for a few rounds, again, I'm going to invite you to pause and take a breath in, and then exhale. If you're on all fours, lightly encourage your navel, abdomen to draw in to support you. Breathe in, lengthen the spine, tailbone lifts, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, rounding into the back and slowly taking the pelvis back. And the same on the chair as you did, but this time thinking about the in-breath, finding that length, lifting the chest, exhaling, rounding into the back, and then hinging at the hips and folding towards the ground. So explore this maybe 3 more rounds in your own time. Let the breath be the part of the movement to nudge you forwards and up, that inspiring part of the breath, rising, and then exhale into the lower back. So stretching, releasing, coming down. And again, so maybe once or twice more, depending on your pace. And then we'll pause. If you're on a chair, taking a forward fold, support your hands, your head with your hands. So you can either do this on all fours, resting the head onto your thumbs, little massage there. Do the same thing if you're on a chair, coming onto the elbows connect with your thighs, and then rest your head onto your thumbs. And massage the space in between your brow. Have a little sway from side to side, sigh the breath out, and then roll onto the back of your body. So we're just going to do maybe 1 or 2 postures on our back, and we'll end the practice with a breathing exercise. So coming onto the back of your body, find the ground, let your pelvis sink down towards the earth. Your feet want to be fairly close to your bottom, maybe stroking the edges of your heels with your fingertips, and wait for the movement when you're ready, lifting the pelvis and the spine. So the breath is just natural here. We're not combining movement and breathing. We're going to explore that in a few moments. Just get used to this new position of lifting and rising, maybe just incrementally coming up through that extension in your own time. So this is, you might know it as bridge pose. Some of you might know it as something else, depending on if you've explored it in other disciplines. but it's very strengthening for the back and integrating for your spine, pelvis, shoulder girdle. So if you would like to incorporate some kind of back care routine, a posture like this could be something that you might be able to incorporate into your daily routine. Okay, we're going to pause the next time you come down, and I'd really like you to slow the breath right down. You take a long breath in, exhale completely, and then the next time you breathe in, then lifting through the pelvis and raising the spine, coming onto the shoulders, and then exhale and let the spine and then the pelvis find the ground. So again, the inspirational part of the breath. As you inspire, rise with a sense of vitality away from the ground. And as you exhale, see this as the part of your breath that can steady you, that can support you, that can release you back down again. Okay, hands can come into the center of your chest. Pause, just complete the round that you're on. A deep breath in, sigh the breath out. Just come back to this notion that your hands are an extension of your heart. And this time, as you inhale, let your right arm extend away from your chest, let your head roll to the right hand side. Exhale, bring the hand back over, really gentle with that touch, the head comes to center. Inhale to the left, exhale and come back. So once you find that rhythm, maybe once or twice more to each side, just let the breath really flow quite naturally, but see how you can return on the exhale and then expand and lengthen on the inhale, just really gently now, with this notion once again that your hands are an extension of your heart. And when you feel ready, just let the hands rest there, breathe into your hands, sigh the breath, encourage your knees to come in over your tummy and just give yourself a little rock here. And then rolling over onto your side, I'm going to sit on the ground, but I welcome you to come and sit onto a chair. It's important that you find a position that is comfortable for you. So if you have tight hips, tight hamstrings, coming to sit onto a chair or raising the bottom using some blocks, using cushions is very useful. And I'll sit cross-legged, but you might like to have your feet out in front of you. You could even rest against a wall. And we'll just finish with a little breathing practice here. So let's bring the hands over the center of the chest once again. Breathe into your heart center. So in yoga we will often refer to the center of the chest, space of the rib cage, as your heart center. And we could think of this as our essence, our self, that which is unchanging, unclouded, undisturbed. So take a breath in and let your left hand extend away, and then gaze along your left arm. Exhale and place the hand back. And explore the same on the opposite side. So your hands are an extension of your heart. Offer that out. Sense of inspiration, sense of vitality, welcoming those qualities back to yourself. Nurture and be kind as you place your hands, and then breathe in and extend again. So what are you offering out into this space? Is there something that you would like to explore on a creative level? Is there something getting in the way? Can we let go of that as you work with these gestures of offering and bringing back? Offer something else, let it go, and then bring it back. Okay, once more on the opposite side. So I'm going to just bring in this quality of kindness and compassion and welcome it into the center of my chest. and let go of the things that are maybe getting in the way of you being kind to yourselves, of you having compassion around maybe your work schedule or your relationships or your environment. What is it in this moment as you exhale that you can let go of? Is there something that has been stressing you, something that has been you've been burdened by? Think of that letting go as you exhale. And then on the in-breath, just welcome a sense of vitality, a sense of newness or freshness, like a fresh perspective comes in on that in-breath. Exhale and let go. The exhalation can be very powerful in terms of enabling us to relax, enabling us to let go. And the inhalation can be very transformative in terms of enabling us to feel uplifted, to feel inspired in some way. Okay, so sigh the breath, shake that out a little bit. Let your arms shake out, let your legs shake out. And I'm just going to come in towards yourselves. Just take a few moments, notice how you feel. I'd love to have some reflections if you were able to stay for the practice. I'd just love to know how you found that. Quite subtle today in terms of the theme. Yesterday's practice I explored yoga for neck and shoulder care, which is kind of a much more practical way that we can explore yoga. And today I wanted to sort of bring in something more on a creative level. So if you take this practice, if you come back at any time, it will be available on videos here. So you can come back at any time and explore that practice for yourselves. And thanks to the F22 group for having me. If you want to find me on Instagram, so yoga, Helen Roscoe Yoga, and photography is Helen Roscoe Photo.